Think you or someone you know is a guru and want to be interviewed for our show? Message us here on YouTube. I'll be dancing with myself, oh oh, dancing with myself, oh oh, dancing with myself. Woo! What's up, Paranormal Addicts? I'm Maighread and welcome to the Beyond Natural. Real quick, I wanted to give a shout out to Connie Johnson, who referred us to last week's guest guru, Ryan Michaels. Thanks, Connie! Now this week I'm covering Case 13. Now claims included pictures being knocked off the walls, voices heard, footsteps, and other strange happenings. I'm going to read Birdsong's back with the rest of our interview on spiritual healing. Before we get into the highlights, I wanted to bring up the fact that sometimes cases come to a team in the least ideal fashion. Meaning a potential client calls, they want help immediately, and there isn't time for the full process. You have a general process for all of your investigations, of course, but you should also have the emergency plan. Some teams may refuse to take on last-minute or rush cases, but you should have a process in place just in case. In this instance, Case 13 was a last-minute case that put the STPI team in a position of having only 2 investigators for the night. While the investigation was still successful, the team had to Blair Witch it. Back to Case 13 highlights. Now our first clip is of Sarah on her own.
Maybe you have some messages for that you'd like to have passed on to him, something you'd like him to know.
Now, one of the client's claims is that the pictures you see on the wall behind Sarah have been thrown from the wall by an unseen force. Now, this didn't happen on the investigation, but Sarah tried to get interaction regardless. She also mentioned after the investigation that she felt like she was being watched, and that she definitely was not alone. Now, her facial expressions in the clip confirm it. The next clip is Sarah once more. This time she enters the master bedroom, and something strange happens. Let's watch. Here I go, again on my own.
Okay. Alrighty, I'm just gonna sit here on the edge of the bed. As soon as I got in there, all my equipment ended up getting turned off.
Alright, as Sarah explained, only after a few minutes of being in the room, all of her equipment turned off, even the flashlight. Now she has to turn everything back on, and obviously her presence or something she said was not welcome. Our final highlight clip involves Destin. He's on his own like Sarah was. In this clip, you'll see 2 portions of his investigation. Take a look.
Here, something draining there. It was pretty neat. The toilet actually releasing the water.
I don't know, it was fine when I flushed it last time.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so this right here just turned off.
Let's start with the first thing. Toilet mysteriously running? Swirling anyone? There's no one else in the house, and further investigation revealed that there were no plumbing problems or issues with the toilet systems. This was another one of those client claims. The clients have had multiple plumbers look at it, and there's nothing wrong with it. Weird, right? The bathroom incident is a mystery. The DVD player is as well. It was strange, and Destin found this particular DVD player turning off and then coming back on to be just a little bit weird. Now, also, it came back on when he asked it to. After further investigation and asking the clients, they said that the player had never acted in that manner before. Destin investigated this thoroughly, but he found no source. Not from a remote, electrical interference, settings, or even stray signals from other equipment. That's it for the highlights, and now that those are out of the way, it's time for the Guest Guru of the Week! This week's guest guru is Maighread Birdsong. Spiritual healer and Reiki master. She previously interviewed on the topic of spiritual healing. There wasn't enough time to show you the entire interview, so she's back once more to give us the rest. FYI, due to a man and his lawnmower, we had to re-record the second portion of Maighread's interview. So welcome, Maighread, to Beyond Natural. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, dear. How are you?
Doing great. Nice and sunny, and summer is upon us.
Yes, it is.
Well, our first question for you tonight is, do others seek your help for situations that are outside of the paranormal? And if so, can you provide some examples of those situations?
Oh, sure. You know, I do a lot of long-distance healings. It's what we call sending a chai ball. I'll put a Reiki image in a imaginary ball of light, and then I send it to a person. I do this for one of the members there at UPI, Wade C. from New York. I send him one. I do my healings on Tuesdays and Fridays, and I send out lots of those to friends with different problems. I have one lady who is like in her 60s, and she's got problems with her lower legs. So I send her a distance healing, and then I have a gal who comes to my house on Thursdays, and I give her a hands-on healing Reiki, and it's just for, physical and, psychological problems, because sometimes when you feel emotionally bad, it comes out physically in your body, and if you can heal some of the spiritual and emotional pain through the Reiki, it can go a long ways to help heal the physical body.
That's very interesting. I've not heard of Reiki doing that before. In your opinion, does it benefit paranormal investigation teams to have someone with your type of experience and healing techniques on their team, or at least maybe available to their clients?
Yeah, it really can help them. Even if it's just to negate the fear. When you go to an investigation, even if it wasn't a paranormal investigation, you get a little tensed up, getting ready to go, and you want to get rid of all this excess energy so you can concentrate on the investigation. And, if you're a paranormal investigator, you don't want to be scared to go screaming out of the place.
Definitely not.
You're there to take care of the situation. There's one empowerment technique that I have to help overcome fear that's called the Nectar of the Sphinx. Now, I give this away freely on my website, Healing Wings. It's a very simple technique, and I assure you it does work. I've tried it, and in January of this year, I went to an investigation by myself to help a lady down in Southern California who had something that was tormenting her calves. I stayed at her home for about 4 days with little to no fear at all because I used this technique. And much of the time I was home alone because she worked. It turned out in the end to be poltergeist activity, but the initial threat of demonic activity had been there all the same. So through the use of techniques such as this, we as investigators can better, stand our ground and complete the investigation and find the reasons for the paranormal activity, thereby getting a closer to a more positive resolution to the phenomena. I demonstrate the calming effect on clients, and it seems to help them to better deal with these unusual circumstances as well. So I definitely think that, having someone, or at least access to someone with Reiki abilities could be a big benefit to any paranormal group.
That's amazing. On a side note, is there a website or something where you can actually get a list of people that practice Reiki or have that use those healing techniques?
Well, I teach Reiki techniques on my website, Maggieland, and I have you just join it like you would any other site that you go to, social give away a lot of free Reiki, and I can also, attune people and teach them Reiki, long distance and stuff, and over the phone, instant messaging. Most of the time, I don't actually need to be there to attune somebody or to make them. There's certain meditations and things you have to go through once you've read all the paperwork that comes with whatever package. Let's say you want to learn Zen Reiki. I would give that to you, and then you'd have to read that and say and let me know when you were ready to receive it. Then I'd have to go through a meditation and give that to you. And like I said, I have a site called Maighread where I do that sort of thing. And there's all kinds of them. I mean, besides the ones I have, I learned from a gal who runs a site called Phoenix Rising Reiki. And she's the one who taught me, and she's out of Phoenix, Arizona. But she keeps in touch with me through phone calls and stuff, and I still buy packages from her on occasion whenever she finds something I don't already have.
All right. Well, then, speaking again of all those healing techniques and those packages and things like that, what general tips can you offer to those wanting to protect themselves or others spiritually?
Well, that's a little difficult to answer in general terms, because I like to use the symbolism and iconography that reflects the individual person's belief system. That being said, St. Michael's pendants are always good for those who are strong in the Catholic faith, and invoking the angels and using the prayers of Catholicism and Christianity can go a long way towards protecting yourself and also helping to eject any negative entities that may be about. I have worked with Christian as well as pagan iconography, and they both served me equally well. The use of oils and waters can also help. I have a sandalwood and amber mix that I spray on before I go into any investigation. According to my Carillion Wicca training in herbal waters and oils, this mixture has the natural qualities that help to protect you from harm and psychic attack. It also helps to banish negativity. Now, using a burning sage or smudge stick and placing a dab of frankincense oil on the root chakra can also help to prevent any unwanted entities from attaching and following you home from an investigation.
Okay, so that's great information. Love it. Definitely love to hear about other things outside of, the standard prayers and things like that can really help investigators.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a spiritual healer and investigator, can you name one thing that you do differently than others in the field and how it has benefited you?
Well, as a spiritual healer, I look at each investigation quite differently from the average investigator. I'm not there to find out any hard evidence that the realm of spirits is real. I already believe that. What I bring to the table is the knowledge and compassion to deal with both sides of a haunting. Even if it's not a haunting, I can deal with the emotional issues that may come from whatever is perceived to be causing these problems. I do my best to deal with both sides of a haunting, to serve both the living and the dead, and to find a positive outcome to any given situation. So I am, for whatever reasons, always involved in those paranormal events that seem to call for my special talents. I suppose the benefit to me is that I'm not a direct part of most investigations. However, walking in spirit as I do, I will be there when I'm most needed.
Okay, and then our final question for you this evening is there any misconceptions to spiritual healing, and how do you overcome those misconceptions?
Yeah, misconceptions about my methods are like way too many to mention. But mostly what it comes down to is that some people have little faith in things yet unseen. They might believe there's a ghost in their closet, but they don't believe that I can help them with, magical Reiki or whatever. But this is where my counseling comes in handy. I'll simply start chatting about the weather to relax them, movies or books, to help direct the attention off of the paranormal issues and to relax the clients. Then then I'll move the conversation to maybe an everyday salutation like, do you ever say, have a nice day, or I hope you're doing well? And then I might mention that although we may not seem to have direct effects on others with these everyday phrases, we do influence the subtle plane or the collective subconscious mind with our heartfelt positive thoughts and emotions, which we directly project upon one another through the simple use of conversation. So in a way, everybody does a little Reiki magic every day. There's also a form of Reiki that's called Gyoshi Ho, which can be sent with the eyes. This would be like projecting either the Reiki symbols or different colors of light into various chakra points on the body to achieve whatever effect, to calm them down or to give them a boost. I had one friend who was just having a terrible time trying to remember something, and I started sending little white light to her third eye area, and she remembered what she was looking for, and she found it, and things went on great. Just give her that little bit of energy that she needed to get her, her mind out of neutral and back into gear. So whichever way the conversation goes, I can have a calming effect on those in distress, which with the methods that I use. Research are what really matters, and to me, helping the souls find a better, calmer state is greater importance than trying to convince doubters, skeptics, or disbelievers. Those who have had experience with the effects of Reiki, to them no explanation is necessary. To those who disbelieve, no explanation will suffice. We're all free to believe as we wish, and that's kind of how I feel about that.
Well, thank you for sharing all of that wonderful information with us. Definitely would love to have you back on to talk a little bit more in depth about Reiki, just because you've shared so many different parts of it, and I'm anxious to learn more about it. Is there anything that you would like to add?
Well, just that I am out there on lots of different websites, and if you just put my name into any search engine, Maighread Birdsong, Maighread, Birdsong, Birdsong, you should be able to find me, and I'm always open to helping anybody and answering any questions, and that's kind of what I do.
Great. Well, we're glad you're out there, because you definitely have a lot of knowledge to share and a lot of great things to offer.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to be with us again, and we look forward to having you back on in the future.
Very good.
Okay, you have a wonderful day.
You take care, sweetie. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks again, Maighread, for taking the time to share all of that wonderful information with us. We hope to have you back on again soon. Now, on to the evidence. Our first clip is an EVP that Sarah caught in the living room. Take a listen.
Here and sit on the couch.
Seems Sarah's rude. How rude. Who knew? Now, remember that first highlight clip? The deal with the pictures? And Sarah was kind of feeling a little odd. She was also asking if anyone had a message to pass on, and she got a response.
Maybe you have some messages for that you'd like to.
After hearing this EVP in the review, the team hoped to catch more of the message that the voice was talking about, but unfortunately, they didn't. Our last clip is Sarah once more. This time you get some EVPs and a little action. Just not the paranormal kind of action.
Whoop! There's a car, and I totally tripped on it. I hope you think that's as funny as I thought it was. Because I sure thought it was funny. Alrighty.
I know, I'm supposed to be serious, but I love Sarah's natural reaction to her situation and how she tied the entire event into her EVP session. Plus, if you heard, there were a couple of EVPs in there. That wraps up this week's episode. As for next week's guru, well, the Beyond Natural is going to take a small hiatus for the upcoming holiday. We'll be back in 4 weeks. Till then, keep it safe. Hey Ninja, that's for you.